drive chain. So your drive chain is this area, so everything that makes you go forward. In terms of cleaning, if it's pouring with rain and you go out and it ends up looking like this, my bike was cleaned for Sunday and then rode it, and bring it Sunday, Tuesday, and now it's actually not too bad. I just wanted to leave it for a little longer.
Mine was that clean? Yeah.
But I don't mind getting a chance to clean it while I'm at work. So all you need for this is some foaming chain cleaner, and just for cleaning it all off, probably a couple of rags, one wet one, and then some clean ones. But anything, any sort of rag will do, any old t-shirt, anything like that. And then for relubing a chain, we have these two that we use in the workshop. So the clear one, all conditions, it's all Fenwicks. All our products are Fenwicks. All condition use, which is the clear one, which is meant to be more environmentally friendly. And then we have the professional chain lube, which is the silver one, which is a personal favourite of chains. And it's the one that we tend to use the most in the workshop because it makes the chain super quiet and solves a lot of problems as well. And it lasts for quite a while. But clean chain, so when we're here, we get the opportunity to clean the bath. But if you guys are at home, if you're outside with a hose, just give the bike a quick rinse first, and it gives the chance for everything else to kind of like soften. And same with the chain. But in this case, we just apply it. You guys can do this if your bike, or it's kind of less for me, put your bike upside down, and you can just pedal around, and then just apply this all around. It will catch up on the derailleur, and it'll probably drop to the ground. I'll just do that. Also gloves.
You do it in reverse rather than forward, or is it whatever?
Most of the time I do it forward, but it's when it means the wheel doesn't spin around. If the wheels are spinning, there's nothing really you can catch your fingers on.
Good point.
But just spin it around, I might pop a little bit more on. And you really, it's the links in the middle, so the plates on the outside don't matter as much, but inside, which is what is actually touching the cassette and chainrings, that's what matters, and that's what you end up lubing at the end as well. But just applying this, so now I'm going forward, go around, and usually what you do, leave it for a couple of minutes to kind of soak a little bit, soften all the grease, and then with your wet rag, you just go around. You can hold it up here, but I usually hold it down the bottom, and you kind of just, another one. You can get either the clip-on ones, which do a really good job of cleaning, they go over the chain, it's just a little handle, they got a few different brushes in them. That's really good for cleaning your chain because it gets right in between all the plates and the links. Another one,
Top or bottom of the chain?
it does what the bottom, because if you do it up here, you'll be smacking everything. Another one is two toothbrushes taped together facing each other, and just put that over the chain. That does a really good job as well. You probably get less uses out of them. You also need to have two spare toothbrushes. But if you've got two old toothbrushes, it works really well.
Just don't put them back.
But then, yeah.
You clean
How do you clean those? Just terps afterwards?
The toothbrushes?
Yeah.
Oh,
Colgate.
yeah. So, obviously, washing your fingers on the pulley wheels, so you keep kind of in the middle if you can, and squeezing down, so you go either the plate first or the links in between. And you see now it's already a lot shinier than it was. You can see the rag just from one quick thing, it's got quite black. Just find a new part of the rag, go around.
So it's not too wet, that rag, eh? Just a little bit down.
Yeah, but down. You can do it with a dry rag, it works fine. Just as well. It's quite nice because it just gets all the grease a little better.
How many days per week do you normally expect to get out of your chain as well?
How many, say again?
Yeah.
How many cleans you say?
No, how many kilometres like?
Per chain?
Yeah.
Depends how you ride. If you put out a lot of power and you usually sit down the lower half of the cassette, maybe a couple of thousand Ks. Also, if you're bike packing and you've got like bags on the back, it'll be about 2,000, maybe 3,000. If you're constantly shifting through the gears and you've got high cadence, maybe 4. But people come in and they've ridden 6,000 Ks and they go, oh, my chain's a bit, and it doesn't feel quite right, and that's when it's kind of falling off. So chain's clean. What you can do with the rag as well, you don't have to do this, but I like to do it with bikes. Just put it behind and just gently press against, and it cleans where the chain ends up sitting. And so it's pressing against the teeth, but on the inside, because you can't really do it on the outside, you can kind of go around a bit. It's a bit awkward to do it. The main thing that matters is your chain. If you haven't done it in ages, you'll notice that you'll get thick bits of grease around your pulley wheels. And you see a lot of people in videos, they'll use screwdrivers, with a screwdriver there, and you see it peel off. Yeah, so yeah, that does a really good job. You know when someone hasn't cleaned their bike in a while, because it's just solid here. You can't even see the teeth really. You don't have to, but it is nice because the chain's relatively clean now. But if I don't clean the pulley wheels, the chain's going to be sitting on that anyway, so they'll get a bit dirty again. So you can, another point, always, if you can, sit in your hardest gear, because it means your fingers are furthest away from the wheel, which I wasn't doing, but it's a good point. So
all the gears are hard.
Yeah, just don't do it in your easiest gear. So kind of like just pinching either side, and it catches. Thankfully mine's quite clean, so I'm clean on Sunday, but you'll notice you'll probably have quite a bit of grease around here. It'll be quite thick, but once that peels off, one, it's super satisfying, and it also it makes the chain run a lot smoother. So once you do both the pulley wheels and all the chains still looking quite nice, you might go once more round, get a clean part of the rag over the chain, just quickly, just to get any excess that might have been on the pulley wheels or the chain rings before. Stop that. Wipe. And now for our professional chain lube. This one, because it's quite thick, you've got to give it a bit of a shake first. So when it's brand new, it's got a little rubber in there to stop anything coming out. But usually just from the back, and just applying it to the links in between. If you really want to be meticulous, you can drop it onto each individual link, but it takes a bit of time. And so I usually just squeeze the bowl and try and keep it in between. Try and keep it between the links. So the difference between different chain lubes, whether you use a wet, a dry, or kind of like all condition one like this or the other one. Some of them actually have different instructions. So this one, which you might not know, you're not meant to ride it for 4 hours after you apply it. So you put it on the chain, do half a dozen rotations, stop it, and then you wipe off the excess. So
Why is that? I'm just curious about.
So if I've got some on the edge, all that's going to do is just pick up grease and then make the chain dirty again. If it's what it's doing is getting that lube in between these little pins and getting down into the
A bit of penetration, you don't get shit all over it.
Yeah. And now it's got in there a little bit. You can wipe off the excess. It'll keep the chain cleaner for longer. Another option, if you again are more meticulous, is waxing your chain. That takes quite a bit of effort. It's not something we do here. It's quite time consuming, but it means you have to clean your chain. All you have to do is like wipe all the grease off, which is quite cool. But it is a time consuming process, which is what we're going to do.
So during this cleaning and delivery, does that make your chain
So
last longer?
Yeah, so it'll last longer, it'll feel much better. If you've got loads of grit in there,
Yeah.
it sounds funny to talk about like power as well, like you're wasting watts. So if you think all that resistance, that extra resistance of dirt, and same with a bike, this sounds funny, but clean bike is a fast bike. So if you think you have all this grease and mud and stuff on there, like it's real fine, but it does weigh a little bit afterwards, and also resistance on whether it's the wind or the chain. You are slowing yourself down a little bit.
Shit, that's where I've been going.
Yeah.
I'll be faster.
Not clean the
Faster
bike
next
well
week.
enough. But now, so the chain is looking
I'm not doing any maintenance.
pretty clean now, and it's got the lube in between, so that's all done.
How often do you do that?
Do I do it, or how often should you do it?
The weather's really bad, presumably after a bad weather day.
Winter, so give them some lubes. So if you get a dry lube, in the summertime you can apply it once every couple of weeks and it's fine. If you did that in the winter, after one ride in the wet with a dry lube, the water would just wash it off and your chain would sound horrible. That's why people tend to go for wet lubes in the summer, in the winter, so you don't have to apply as often. But then you'll also notice that it picks up a lot more grime and dirt from the road, so they tend to be covered in black. They're a lot thicker lubes, so it's kind of a bit of a difference between these two. This one's a lot thinner, and this one, it makes the chain sound super smooth, but it is a bit thicker. So it's kind of
Again, every second ride or every third ride.
probably not as often as that. Maybe once every couple of weeks if you can. Maybe every 3
How
weeks.
many rides is that for you?
Yeah, I was thinking I thought that.
Depends on the kilometres.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Depends on how many Ks you do, the conditions you ride in. If you ride in all weather and you commute every week, really, and what was it saying?
Is it normal for your chain to sound creaky or your cranks to sound